Do you miss it? Do you miss the game of cricket? I know you're still involved from a commentary standpoint, but playing the game, Brett, do you miss it?
Well, I had a number of years, so I retired professionally in about 2014. And this year in Oman, I played in a Legends League cricket tournament. And just recently, the last, 5 days ago, I've played in 2 cricket leagues back in India. So I'm out there. It's so weird being back out in the middle. Normally I've got my commentary voice on. I got my IFB and I'm trying to work out where the producer's going to be, what they're going to throw to me. And here I am with my cricket boots on playing against Sachin Tendulkar. Again, on the big stage, packed crowd, 60-odd thousand people. It was good to get back out there. It's the mind's going, right, hit a 160, and the body's going, just relax a bit, 45, just relax.
Is it like riding a bike, though? I mean, when you're out there, obviously, as you say, a bit older, the hamstrings are probably a bit tighter, but is it, when you've got that ball in hand, does all the old emotions come flooding back?
For me, bowling, yes, it does. It came pretty naturally. Like, as I said, the pace wasn't where it used to be, but batting, oh my gosh, that's a complete, we needed like 5 or 6 off the last day and trying to watch this ball come down, see the ball clearly, my eyes are fine, but just the timing. When you have it, I don't think I had a net session since 2014, the Big Bash back in Australia when I was batting. So maybe I should have had a few more nets before I went to India. Yeah,
well, listen, it's a big couple of weeks. It's a big couple of months for cricket. Let's be honest about it. Down in your homeland, of course, the World T20, your beloved Australia, defending champions. We saw them win it last year here in the United Arab Emirates. How do we assess it? How excited are you heading in to this T20 World Cup?
It's massive. It is huge. It's on our home soil back in Australia, as you mentioned. Defending champions. I think firstly there's a lot of expectation on the players. Certainly, the Aussies, everyone's saying Australia's got to win. They understand the pitches. The wickets that they'll serve up will be conducive to fast bowlers, which Australia can dominate in. But I've earmarked 3 teams. Here's my little scoop. I believe Australia, India and Pakistan will be in that top 3. And for me, the team that goes on to win the World Cup this month will be the team that can actually bowl at the death. So the last 5 overs of the bowling innings, they can close out the death bowling, will go on to win the World Cup.
Jasprit Bumrah, there's obviously, he doesn't play, he's got his problems, he's got his injury problems. I mean, that's a massive blow for India. The thing when I look at India, though, the strength and depth that they still have, despite the fact that Jasprit won't be there, you've earmarked them as a favourite. Why? What impresses you so much about that Indian team?
They cover all 3 facets. They can bang them at the top of the order with the bat. They've got some powerful hitters towards the death. So in contrast to where the guys are trying to bowl at perfect 5 overs, you've got guys coming in like Hardik Pandya and guys that can smack the ball. Like, they're so strong, so powerful now. The bats are a lot better than what they used to be. They time the ball so well, and then they can bowl at the death. Jasprit Bumrah, that's a huge loss for India. There's a guy called Umran Malik. Now, he's burst onto the scene recently. Both 150 clicks. And he runs in like a couple of former Pakistani fast bowlers. Beautiful approach. He has to play. He's not in the squad. He should be in the squad, in my opinion. I mean, I'm pushing the fast bowlers here, but
quite right.
He's a great find for India. Whether it's this World Cup or going forward, he will play a huge role.
Of course, your beloved Aussies beat Pakistan in the semi-finals last year. Babar Azam, top scorer with 303, I think it was. You've got Mohammad Rizwan as well. He was 276, if memory serves me correct.
Yep.
Talk about 2 fellas that if they're on song, they can set the platform for this Pakistan team. You've earmarked them as one of the 3. Again, give me your kind of breakdown on what impresses you so much.
Well, and you articulated beautifully. Babar Azam holds the key for Pakistan.
Yeah.
I reckon if anyone wants to go on YouTube or wherever you find your sort of clips, if you want to see the perfect cover drive in cricket currently, Babar Azam is definitely up there. I mean, technically beautiful. I mean, he's very close to the same technique as Sachin Tendulkar. Hand-eye coordination. He's a lovely guy off the pitch.
Yeah.
And he definitely holds the key. He missed out recently, so he's due for some runs. He'll enjoy the wickets back down in Australia.
Now, you won't be endearing yourself to 2 nations that I know love to get one over on the Aussies, the Kiwis, of course, beaten finalists last time out. We'll get to them first before, and I think you know where I'm going with the next one. New Zealand, what kind of rules them out of the equation for you?
Well, their wickets are very similar to what we will have dished up. The Kiwis are a team that can beat anyone, and that's the thing that the nations that are playing, Afghanistan, those types of guys, if those teams get it right, they can go on and win the World Cup.
Yeah.
And T20 is...
It's a leveller.
It is, because there's a stat here that if you lose 3 wickets, generally 2, but if you lose 3 wickets in the first 6 overs of a T20 match, you'll go on to lose 85% of the matches. So the game can be like justified and told within the first 6 overs. Yeah, you can play some comeback cricket, and we saw that recently in the series that I was playing, where a team was 21 for 4, went on to score 211.
Wow.
So you can fight your way back, but it is, I always say, Test cricket's where it's at. I love 50 over cricket, but T20 cricket's the fun. It brings a different demographic of people. What I used to do, though, I used to sort of get the ego, lock it in the safe, put my PIN code in, leave it at the hotel, and go have a game of T20 cricket.
That's what it is, right? It's interesting. You have to, because it's so unpredictable.
It is.
And it's incredible there that, I look at the English team, for example, Josh Butler coming in now as captain. They've been trialling and erroring a little bit. I know they had their victory over your boys last night, but then I don't want to look too much into that, given the fact what you're missing from a pace bowling perspective in this little lead-up, warm-up 3 T20 matches. The English for you, Brett, are you... I guess you'll be loath to rule them out, of course. But
no, definitely not. I'm not going to go against England, 100%, because they, like any other playing nation, they've had success recently. Their 2 main bowlers, when you think of Stuart Broad and Jimmy Anderson, they've dominated in the last sort of 15 years for England. They've got to make sure, I think England's biggest problem, not with this T20 World Cup, but England's biggest problem going forward, how do they replace 2 superstars? Guys that have taken over 500 Test wickets and 600 in Jimmy Anderson. That is unbelievable to think that he's been playing for so long, what he's put his body through. England are going to make sure that they've got the next superstars coming through, because they've got so much. They love cricket over there. They've got the grassroots, they've got everything right, but they've had these 2 guys that have been steadying the ship for 15 years. It's the next generation that will come through to hopefully replenish those stocks.
Give me your appraisal of Jimmy, Brett. Obviously, you were a pace bowler, as he is, and someone who's managed his body. I've spoken to Jimmy a couple of times, and by his own admission, remarkable that in the early years probably didn't look after himself. A young man who kind of grew maturity-wise and experience-wise. For him to still be doing what he's doing at nigh on 40, it's amazing.
It is amazing. It's respect. I know what he puts his body through, because I've done it. I chose... My parents said don't play football or anything because you might get injured, and I've had 12 operations, 6 on my ankle, broke my back twice, elbow operations. But I love it, because fast bowling is tough. So for me to look at Jimmy Anderson, and he's been playing for like close to 20 years, at the age of close to 40, if he's not 40 already, hats off to him. If you look at his action and you talk the technical terms, because I love actions. I built my whole life on trying to have the best action possible. And even to the last ball I bowled in my career in Big Bash, I was working on my action. You could never get it right, but you're trying it as close to perfection as possible. Jimmy Anderson's action, if you break it down, there's counter rotation, hyperextension, or in layman's terms, twisting and turning, which is what you don't want for a fast bowler. But his wrist, he's got the ability to shape the ball both ways. I could bowl an outswinger or an in-swinger with the old ball, could never bowl an in-swinger with a new ball. And the difference between that is that you got the ball going one way, Jimmy Anderson can bring it back the other way, and that's why he's got over 600 Test wickets.
It's remarkable what he does. It really, really is. A couple of other little kind of major talking points, certainly in the last kind of 18 months or so, Brett. It would be remiss of me, with you sat across from me, not to talk about a good friend of yours, Shane Warne.
Yep.
I mean, a legend, transcended the sport of cricket, a legend of sport, let's be frank about it. Tragic passing March of last year, Brett. I mean, 19 months on. Where are you at 19 months? Couldn't believe it.
It's the thing with Warne. His whole life was a soap opera, and he'd be looking down now, and he'd be smiling, thinking, "Oh, I had an amazing life." At 52 or whatever he was, it's way too young. I feel for his family, most importantly, his kids. I still don't believe it. I think Warne's going to walk in through the door and go, "Come on, guys!" It was all a massive G up. That's what you believe. My father summed it up beautifully. I was at Mum and Dad's when I got the news and I was actually told in the morning, because normally my phone's on like a low ring at night if I'm travelling around the world with the kids and stuff, and my phone just kept buzzing. It kept lighting up. I was at the farm, and I saw this light, and it was from Graham Swan. And Swanee told me at I think 4 in the morning. Could not believe it. I had to go on and check that. They've got it wrong. It's not I said, I'm thinking a journalist is going to get in a lot of trouble here because Rod Marsh passed away the day before.
That's right.
And I thought the journalist has actually made a huge blunder. This is a massive faux pas. It's not Shane Warne, it's Rod Marsh. And I'm thinking, actually, it is Shane Warne. And my father said, Warnie can't die. It's Warnie. And I thought, that summed it up beautifully. He can't. I mean, 52, we've lost some really good guys. I mean, I was with Dean Jones when he passed away over in India.
That's right.
And that was a horrible experience, one that I'd never wish on anyone. Rod Marsh, as I mentioned, an icon for Australian cricket. Shane Warne, who we're talking about, and Andrew Simons in a car accident. So it's been a horrible 2 years. I mean, I'm over this COVID stuff. I'm over these cricketers who are passing away. I want to get back to the way it used to be, like the good old days. But we just say 18 months. It's gone quickly, but it's also seemed like it happened yesterday. When
you were in our studio 7 years ago, Brett, I remember having a great conversation about sledging, and you shared with us a few anecdotes. You probably had this question a million times. The anecdote, and I appreciate there are many we possibly can't bring to the airwaves of Dubai and across the United Arab Emirates, but a kind of clean, an edited version of Shane Warne that summed up the man perfectly. You got one that springs to mind?
Just a quality performer, but got into the moment. And he would actually... Everyone thought Warnie was just a larrikin, knockabout Aussie guy, loved a cold beer, loved a meat pie, and that was him. But if you peel back all the layers, mathematically he was a genius. And everyone's go, Warnie, which is why he loved to go to the casino, loved his poker. He knew every single batsman he got out, how he got them out, and he'd tell the batsmen when they come in to bamboozle them. All right, I got you out 7 years ago. I bowled 3 balls over the wicket. I came around. You open up your stance. I bowled you through your legs. Look out, champ. Here it comes again. And so he just mentally messed with the batsman before they even... And that's, the whole sledging, or I probably would have said gamesmanship, which I called it last time. 99.99% of the time, it is fun stuff. You're trying to put a batsman off. They're trying to put a bowler off. We know there's no room in the game for racial vilification. The swearing can happen sometimes. You try to sort of limit that because kids are watching, want to be good role models. But at the end of the day, you're playing for your country, and it's tense out there. It's hot. But there's been some funny sledges. Yeah,
he'll be gone. He is gone, but never, of course, will that man be forgotten ever. Another big contentious talking point in the world of cricket. I want to get your thoughts on this. Mankading. We saw in this recent ladies' match between India and England, Deepti Sharma, who took out Charlie Dean. I say took out last wicket of the match. It's one of those grey areas. I continue to hear it's the spirit of the game. Football's my number one sport, soccer's my number one sport, Brett, and I always say, well, if it's not in the rules, if it's not banned, then it's illegal, then what's the problem? Where do you sit with it?
Hate it.
You hate it?
Absolutely hate it. I think it's so unsportsmanlike, males and females, and we've obviously seen in the sort of female version, the female cricketers, it's happened, as you mentioned. I don't like it at all, and I don't think that something should be in as a rule that will sort of, that grey area with the spirit of cricket. I think the way to stamp this out is they have the third umpire. They can watch the front foot of when the bowler lands to see if he or she's bowling a no ball. If someone's getting out of their crease and leaving too early, the third umpire radios down to the umpire that's officiating on the field and say, hey, first warning. If you leave your crease again, you lose 5 runs. I can promise you, once a team loses 5 runs, I'll never do it again. Take it away from the bowler. Don't let a bowler, because this could happen, mate. We could get to the World Cup T20, last over. I hope it doesn't, and I don't want to be Nostradamus, but it could happen. It could happen this World Cup. I really hope it doesn't, because I think it's a shocking part of the game. I don't like it at all. I urge all the listeners, boys and girls, if you're out there,
stay away from it.
Just get them out normally. Don't. It's not cheating because it is part of the game. They need to change the rules.
Was it ever discussed internally in the dressing room?
No, never once have I gone to a cricket match thinking I'm in a man cat zone. No way. Not even in the backyard. I'd say to my brother occasionally, just take it easy, mate. My younger brother, who was always the second batsman, the fieldsman, but it's. People shouldn't do it. In my opinion, they should not do it.
So it should more
wrecks the game.
Does more need to be done then to lobby the ICC to say enough's enough here? Let's get this ban, as you say, one warning, if we catch you a second time, it's 5 runs off, and let's start getting that into the laws of the game.
100%. Take it away from the player, put it back in the officiating umpire, whether it's a third umpire. But also, too, you don't want a batsman getting out of their crease too early. I don't want to use the word cheating, but trying to gain a few extra. Every centimetre counts in cricket. Like if you're out by, if your bat's not behind the line, you can be on the line and be given out. So it can come down to millimetres. So every single centimetre counts when you're playing cricket. You're trying to get that run. So I urge the batsman to put it back in their court. Stay in the line until the ball's let go. Then you can go. You can go as much as you want, but take it out of the hands of the bowlers.
Completely agree with that. I must say, I want to talk as well a little bit about life after cricket for you, Brett, because, I mean, I'm going to call you Benjamin Button. You look as young as you did when you were playing bloody 8 years or so ago. Well, I mean, life now, India, you're a superstar there, and maybe people don't understand it. Listen, top cricketer as you were, you're always going to be loved in India, but you've taken the step into Bollywood. I mean, you are literally a kind of son away from India. You've been welcomed with open arms in that part of the world.
India's an incredible place. I love it. I've been going there for 27 years now. Over 130 or 140 times, I think. I've been landing in Mumbai or Delhi. I just love the people and the culture. I love the fact it's organised chaos. It nails every sense. Every sensory organ gets nailed when you land in India, from the sound, the smell, and the feel. And it's hot, humid, but the people are so kind and friendly. Like when people ask about me playing sport and what India's done, like sometimes people get pigeonholed to what they've done in their life. And for me as a cricketer, that was a passion of mine. It wasn't my first love. I love music, and if I could have picked between being a rock star or a cricketer,
you'd have picked rock star.
I would have picked like someone like Robbie Williams. For me, is the perfect showman. But cricket came more naturally, and I'm better at cricket than I love my music, and I play in a band, and I'm very content to sit back as a backing vocalist and not be the main man and play a bass or my guitar or the piano, whatever it might be. But that would have been an amazing journey to go down. But you throw cricket in, but I've done my charity stuff over here. I love doing work throughout India. I love what we're doing here with better breathing and air physio. What it is actually having different things that you love. I've been in menswear since I was 17, and to this day I still am involved in menswear. So cricket is a massive part of my life, but it's not. I'm not sort of just cricket. I love being involved. I never thought I'd be a commentator. I never thought I'd be in front of the camera talking about the game that we love. But I actually love it. I love doing the commentary. It's strange. I've never watched as much cricket in the last 5 years that I have since I've been commentating.
It says that a lot. I speak to a lot of ex-sportsmen, whatever their sports are, and it's always amazed me since becoming a broadcaster how many guys and girls don't actually enjoy the sport that they played. You know, growing up, it's almost the naive kind of view of it that I just thought all of you guys loved what you were doing because it's what I aspired, it's what I dreamt of being. But the reality is, for many, it's a job like we all have, right? There's a lot of people that don't necessarily love what they do, but it's interesting there. When you played the game, did you watch cricket? Not much.
I've never, here's a little scoop for you, I've never watched a full test match. I've never sat down the couch
and
watched the test match for 5 days. Never. Because I'd be out playing. I'd be, when the cricket's always on the background when I was growing up as a kid. But we wanted to be, Tomo and Lily, and we wanted to, emulate, whereas a Kapil Dev from India, whoever it might have been, the greats of the game. So for me, it was always on the background, but I don't know whether I'm hyperactive or can't sit still, but I was always out playing sports. I'm not a massive sit down in front of it. Even now, I don't sit down and watch a lot of TV. I'll watch different series and stuff, but I will seriously, I'll be out fishing or down the farm and just getting away from the TV and stuff.
Is cricket in a good place, Brett? Seriously, I mean, you've already talked about the fact that the purists, the test form. ODI, I know, has come under the spotlight. A lot of people thinking if one's got to go, it's maybe that. T20 has brought a new fandom. It's brash, it's fun, it's colourful. T10 has even eked into the kind of lexicon of recent years, certainly here in the United Arab Emirates. I know it's been kind of modelled up as the perfect vehicle for maybe an Olympic shout in the coming years. Where's cricket at for you? Are we in a good place, or are there areas that you think, oh, it's maybe in the case of T20, it's a little bit too kind of scattergun?
I wouldn't mind seeing a T5, just bowl one over and go home. You know, that'd be
10 minutes.
It'd be a bit of fun as well. I think cricket is in a very good spot. We've got to make sure that the product that we're trying to deliver here is all about fun. T20 cricket, you've got the fireworks, you've got the energy, you've got the music, different demographic of people. So when we play T20 cricket, we're seeing a lot of girls come to the cricket, young girls in their 9, 10, 11 years of age that want to play sport. It's 3.5 hours, and the difference is people now are so busy. Everyone's on their phone. They're all, what's next? What's on social media? They want things now. What happened a minute ago is too old. It's gone. So the mentality of these kids now, that they want to be entertained every single second. So we need to keep pushing Test cricket, because that is the purest, and that's where I believe the best teams over a long period of time will always go on to win, because of the tactics. I love the fact you can get down to 5 days and it can come down the last ball. I mean, and we've seen it. That to me is what sport's about. But I also get the fact that now these young kids are thinking whether they want to play for their country, be it Australia or whatever it might be. There'll be a lot of kids now that are my son's age, and he's a very good little cricketer, 15, almost 16 years of age.
Got a chance?
Look, it's hard as a father, because I try to look at it through not the sort of foggy eyes. I got him a proper batting coach, so the same coach that's looking after Marnus Labuschagne, the current Australian cricketer, and he came over and trained with us over. He spent 2 weeks in India with me. He's like a sponge. He's there with Shane Watson, Brad Hodge, and all the boys, and thinking, how good's this? But there will be kids his age that go, I want to be a professional athlete that plays in India. I want to go and play Nepal. I want to go to England and play. And they might their dream might not be like mine was, to get a baggy green and play Test cricket. They might be thinking, I can set myself up in 5 years for the rest of my life playing at this level now, because that's where the revenue from cricket is now. These athletes, and I applaud that, because I know how hard they've got to bloody work to get that top level. You can set yourself up for life now as a current cricketer in 5 years. And that's brilliant. If they want to go down that road, I've got no issue with that. But I also need to push Test cricket, because I still believe that's the best format.
It's the greatest test, I think it is. Listen, last couple, Brett, I can't thank you enough. You've given me 28 minutes of gold so far. You mentioned social media, and that's a constant bugbearer of mine. It's a constant kind of conversation filler, if you will, because, I've got my own thoughts on social media.
Okay.
Being honest, I don't like it.
Yep.
I don't like it at all. Listen, I know it gives people a voice. I know it gives people control over marketing themselves, but I think it's been a huge detriment to people's social ability. Mentally as well, I think it's been an absolute nightmare from that perspective. And I can't help but thinking that great baggy green team of yours, my goodness, you imagine blokes in that changing room with a phone.
Thank God.
You'd have been cancelled.
Thank God. That's what one used to say.
Where are you at with it? Is it a poison? Is it good? Is it about, using it correctly? Where are you at with social media? Because having a conversation like this, eye to eye, that for me is interaction.
I'm the same.
Not this.
I'm old school. You go to functions and you go to sporting events, everyone's on their phone. Or they're taking a photo or a video
of the action
to show their mates. I'm like, enjoy the moment. Tell your mates about it, your friends. But enjoy it. Take a photo or a quick little video. That's fine. The camera phone is the best and the worst thing ever invented, in my opinion, because everyone's a journalist. Everyone, if you're out having a quiet beer after a day's play, you might have 3 days off, you want to go and have a cold beer or whatever, someone puts a photo up, you then can be judged like you've had 30 beers and you've done the right thing, and everyone's entitled to have their own blowouts as well in their own life. For me, social media, I've got a couple of rules. With life, don't drink and drive. Don't get behind a vehicle when you're intoxicated. Don't drink and tweet. If you can put your social media away, if you're going to have a couple of quiet ones, then that's the best way to look at it. Try to be, I know, using the word inspirational, but try and do it for a positive thing. I don't do stuff on social media like, morning, got up, my eyes were open, hopped out of bed, and who cares? Really? Who cares?
What you having for breakfast?
I don't get that. But in an opportunity like this, we can actually push out to the masses of a message which is instant. Normally we had to come into a radio station or go into a television, and that is still a very, very important part of life.
Thankfully it is.
And you do a fantastic job, right? And your viewers can also tune into you from a social media handle that puts them into the right spot.
Yeah.
So I think there is a huge importance in that. And for us, this is the chance to showcase what we're doing, what the message we're trying to get out on our own terms. Because sometimes when you go and do a press conference in India, you might put the line out and then they take things out of context and it's a total different quote. So I didn't say that. But you can do it yourself on social media. So the right place, right time, it's great. People can abuse it, like anything, I guess.
Well, listen, let's come full circle. I want to finish on air physio and better breathing sport because, listen, two, I guess, contraptions that are close to your heart.
Yep.
I want to talk about the who, the what, the where, the why. Where can people find out more information about these, Brett? Because certainly in the better breathing sport, I want to learn more about it because I've had, since having COVID, contracting COVID almost 2 years ago, I've had breathing issues.
You need it.
I probably
honestly,
do.
And it would really help you. They can go to Better Breathing, all the social media handles. If you type in Better Breathing, if you type in Air Physio, comes up straight away. What I will say, the way I got involved with this was because my mother, and she had the bronchitis. It fixed it within 3 days. Paul very kindly sent a device out to my mother before I even met him, and I knew there was Tim Cale was involved, and I thought, well, I've known Timmy for a million years, and Mum said it's fixed me, and I thought, well, far out, that's the best tick in the box for anything.
And your mum's quality of life has literally
She's great, yeah, because she smoked her whole life and everything, and the chances when you get in your 70s, your lungs aren't as good as they used to be. Use this like when you get up and you brush your teeth in the morning. Use it for 5 minutes, but with Better Breathing. And that's a sport. So you got air physio for the people in the hospitals or at home that are suffering from some form of chest illness with those different medical conditions. But with Better Breathing sport, you don't have to be an athlete either. You can be an athlete, and we have seen elite athletes using it.
I'm definitely not an athlete. But
I was using it last week when I was playing cricket. Packed the cricket boots. Now I pack this first. Get my Better Breathing device and use it. Opens up your lungs, open up your airways so you can actually run in and bowl and feel a lot fresher. But DJs, radio personalities, people on TV, painters, cameramen, anyone can use it because you don't have to be an elite sports person. Every walk of day life, anyone can use it.
It's fantastic. It really is.
And it works. And 106 countries, and I thought,
I need to get involved.
I want to get involved because it is going to change people's lives. And that's I'm happy to get on and talk about something if it's for the right cause.
Yeah. Well, listen, you were telling me before we came on air, 42 days since you've been home. You fly back down under tomorrow. What's the first thing you do when you get home?
Kiss my kids and my beautiful wife. Thank God for FaceTime. Thank God for, I know it's sort of over in this neck of the woods, or you jump on a
WhatsApp
call, whatever it might be. It's hard. Every single time you go away now, it's hard. But for me, spending 42 days abroad allows me to have more time and quality time when I'm at home. So the normal 9 to 5 job, which I've never had, people get up, guys and girls go to work, and they don't see their kids in the morning. They come home, it's night time. They might give them a kiss or a book before bed. So when I'm home, it's to me it's quality time. So looking forward to get back and seeing the kids and just getting jumped over,
getting back
thrown
on
at me and being a dad, which is the best job in the world.
Well, listen, it's great. You've given me half an hour of Radio Gold. So, Brett Lee, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. It's been 7 years since I last caught up with you. Don't make it another 7.
Let's try and put something in every couple of years.
And we'll have a couple of cold ones as well. Top man. Cheers,
Good
Brett.
man.
Cheers, mate.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.